Yeah, you know, my dad, he's the only parent figure in my life, so, you know, he's been super supportive about everything. When it came to football, my dad played football. I wore his number, you know. If I was to wear a number on this jersey, it would be 55, like my dad's number. And it's constantly, you know, whatever you're doing, as long as you're happy, I will support you. And, you know, he dropped me off at the airport, gave me a big hug, said, you know, I'm proud of you. Because he grew up watching, well, when I was growing up, he was watching me play all these video games, right? And I think for a lot of parents, they think, oh, my kid's wasting his time, you know, it's not going to go anywhere. But now I can say, hey, I'm in college for Valorant. You know, there's not a lot of people that can say that. And I hope that makes him proud. He's been very vocal about me. But I do want to win this tournament so he can be even more proud.
All right, beautiful. The love of a father is definitely more than I can imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing to really think about.
Yeah, you know, we've had so many parents come through C-Law and here in C-Val. We got to see Tuzi's mom. Shout out Tuzi's mom real quick. So a lot of supporting parents in the audience, and, you know, a lot of conflicting fans for both sides. We got to see Moobs' dad, Tuzi's mom, a lot going on. But here in this third map between Fisher College Navy and Winthrop University, we head to Fracture, a map these two teams have met 5 times on in the past. The most recent encounter going the way of Fisher due to a very, very dominant attacking half. That being the second half, they won 8-1 to close that one, I think, like 13-8.
Yep.
So these two teams have a storied past. However, Winthrop does lead 3-2 in their last 5 encounters. This one here would be number 6, and we are seeing some changes. The double duelist we expected, but Logan on the Neon, this is a first for them in, I think, over 3 months.
Listen, it's a statement map, and it's also a statement composition with Logan already bringing up that Neon. And that only just proves that Fisher are not playing around anymore. They're looking for deeper engagements. They're looking for that Neon to really play into this. And on the defending side, I'm hoping something big.
The last time we saw him play Neon was, oh my God, get this. The double duelist comp they ran was Neon and Reyna.
Oh, gosh.
Probably the weirdest combo we've ever seen. And a Chamber in the mix as well. I think this was pre-Chamber nerf, however. So we're seeing the Neon come back. He hasn't played it in 5 months on this map, and in the biggest stage of his life, Logan is pulling out. He had a heater in map number 2 and a heater in map number 1. Now he's on the Neon. Does that change? I don't know, man. I haven't seen him play it in a while, but he's always been good when it comes to putting up numbers with almost any agent.
You know, and I actually think that's going to counter really well the playstyle that we've been seeing so far from Winthrop. We've been seeing Winthrop slowly as they go on in the games gain that confidence. And on the attacking side, it's been showing tremendously. They've been getting more aggressive, they've been getting deeper, and they are not a team to play around against. So that Neon, going to be great from Logan if they can actually profit off of it.
You can see everyone, battle faces are on. There was intense moments between those first 2 maps and a best of 5 series that has already gone, by the way, 48 rounds. 24 in map 1, 24 in map 2. Fatigue is going to slowly start to set in, and this is the 4th time these two teams are meeting in a best of 5, and almost every single time it goes either 4 or 5 maps, so we're guaranteed here to see 4. But is there more? Winthrop on the attacking side, Fisher College Navy on their defending side. A slight change of their composition, but mental doesn't shift. They're already looking to get aggressive with this Neon down towards B, and it's a solo A77.
I feel really bad for A77, because imagine you got 5 players already running towards you, and you're alone, can't even get one, now you're down.
And instantly Winthrop, recognizing that aggression over on that arcade side, or apologies, on the B tree side, are very quick to pivot and get aggressive down towards arcade. They'll play the post plant, yes, at a man disadvantage, but they have a lot of site control. But this is different from Fisher. I think Winthrop are expecting them to pivot through B tree, but they're coming from 2 different angles now.
Oh, no, actually, they're coming back. They're trying to apply that pinch pressure here from Fisher. It's going to be beautifully done so. Already hiding in the smoke, it's going to be Comey in their own smoke as well. Oh, no. Now comes the time for it. Actually getting a blast back in, a right click. Luckily enough, Logan there to assist. As we see it right now, yeah, everybody's down in the extremities, really trying to push themselves back over. Winthrop, though, nothing to do in this round.
I don't know if Winthrop heard the defuse going or they just weren't sure if it was a fake or a stick, but Fisher get that round essentially for free, it felt like. Like, Winthrop were not looking to contest whatsoever. They were behind their own smoke. I think that's a risk, and I love the way that Fisher played that. They dropped their own smokes towards their own spawn, towards Jenny and towards Canteen, and they stick the defuse fully. And Winthrop, the HUD is a little bit wonky. It's getting there. It's catching up. Like it's a whole round behind right now. But there we go. Leading 1-0 at the moment.
Yeah.
Fisher we talk about, you know, these players and how they're on this lower bracket revenge tour. Clark and Logan both being on the duelist is like, it brings a tear to my eye in the way that both of them were playing in the last map. Like, Clark was exceptional when he got back into, I think, his comfort pick of Sova. I mean, he played really, really good in the first map, but just the solidity that he brought on his Sova was tremendous. And now to have Logan by his side, I think the two best players individually on Fisher, having them both on duelists, if you're Winthrop, you kind of, I feel like you were low-key a little bit scared. Granted, they still have moves on the Jet, which is also going to be a threat as well to watch out for.
Yeah, even now and then, too. The way that we're seeing them play is scarier than what we would have originally expected, because Logan there, again, confidence really booming on that Neon. They're still even going to go for this play very aggressively down towards...
Yeah, you know, I don't know exactly the buy, but it looks like we're going to have full rifles for Winthrop, and yeah, we are, so we get it a little bit late, but they have full rifles in this round, and they're playing very, very cautious. The tempo that Fisher set in that first round, I think, is something that's going to resonate for the rest of this half, and we're going to continue to see Winthrop play this kind of passive style, wait for Fisher to come to them, because when you have a Neon on the field, it becomes a little bit unpredictable. Comboing that with a breach, you have to be careful of those trap plays, the double stuns that can come through.
Fisher are honestly trolling right now because they were aggressive those first two rounds. You can see that Winthrop is actually expecting that, but Fisher's expecting this hold too.
I think on the flip side, they're just playing, they're trying to switch up the tempo and catch Winthrop off guard, because if Winthrop, you don't really know where these players are, and look at the uncomfortability for Flair and trying to take this tower control. He's going to try to take a solo, no breach flash, nothing. He's going to try and fight. There's something here for Dory.
And now Flair's actually chasing this. Two players still left around there. Dory getting just on the right-hand side now, going to peek that. They see two, although backing off quickly.
There's something in the smoke going here towards Canteen. I can't tell exactly if A77 is under tunnel or actually fighting, but here comes the swing towards tower, and it's not going the way of either team just yet as Winthrop's begin to strike for two.
And not a good switch though. A77 up and down. They hit that spray transfer very nicely. Tuzi though, still left on site. They have the potential here to at least get this half, but Comey's going to make it difficult, especially with the dissipation there. Nice shot.
And Winthrop, I think, overpowering their opponents with the gunplay. And I like A77's very, very late lurk. It was a Fisher that you said we're trolling, but we're essentially just trying to switch with the tempo.
Yeah.
They wanted to try and catch Winthrop off guard after being aggressive in those last two rounds. They slowed things down drastically. Winthrop get a lot of space, and I think that's a theme that we saw in Haven, is these defending teams not being proactive. On Fracture, you absolutely have to take map control. There are 4 different entry points, 2 for each site, and they're on polar opposite sides of the map, north and south. So you have to be proactive as this Fisher defensive team will get their full guns on the board. We will see that aggression come through again. They're going to fight here early towards A main, and it's both the duelists, Cloric and Logan. 9 kills in total, 9 of 12. That Fisher had looking to fight together, but that stun catches both of them, slowing them down.
And there's so much profit off of this as well, at least using some of that util there from Winthrop, that they're not even going to try to engage, too afraid for that 3v4.
That's a tremendous amount of control given up here. Fisher will take full control of A, and that will force Winthrop kind of running into now this B site where they had no manpower leaning earlier. Tuzi up close in the smoke.
And now on site. But it's only the Raze left alone. Flair doing some good work, though. You still see the Bram left alone, running and gunning, still surprisingly getting another. Headshot's not hitting, though, but the reinforcement there. They're still stuck down CT, though.
Delay in time, bought off the clock for this rotate, and Fisher have done just enough to get Cloric, Logan, and Dory back into the fight now. Not a full kit, but he's got a flash and a fault line. Moves up close, looking to create an advantage in this disadvantageous position.
That's going to have to be a burn there. Running up. Logan maybe too aggressive there with the Neon. Although Cloric, whoa, there was potential there, but still not enough.
And huge props to Tuzi in that situation. Recognizing that, yeah, there's a timing for him to be had because of the Molly and the Nanostorm that were both popped between him and Rexgator. He slipped through, found Flare, and of course that random spray through the smoke net him in another kill, but
yeah,
I think he did plenty there to delay, especially the combo of util that him and Rex had. Giving Fisher College now a 3-1 lead, and there you see it in the replay, that random spray through the smoke, giving time for these rotates. Perfectly done here by Fisher, and these individuals are really capable of buying so many seconds off the clock and allowing teams to rotate.
Yeah, you can even see the active adaptations coming through from Winthrop, but you know, in that moment, again, it's about winning those fights, but we do see 3 ultimates left on the board. That orbital strike is going to be big for that post-plant positioning.
If they even get the spike down. no real guns to get it done with, to be honest. Moves. Starting, what was that? Where did Flair just come from? Just walked in with a Bucky.
It's free real estate.
And shut him up real quick with it. Tuzi on the low ground.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening here because they've just lost 2 players off of a 4-spy Phantom from Moobs. Spike goes down, and there it is, that post-plant situation you were talking about. Smoke does fade, so Comey will have to creep back a little bit cautiously towards tower to play the ult.
Logan coming up with a build-up. Oh, I like the ultimate that's coming through. They know they have to rush this down, and now some stuns there.
Orbital.
It's that doubled ult that will really carry this alone. The double coming through, and it's a wonderful play. Now left alone, and it is done. Fisher take that 4-1.
And the orbital strike isn't enough to set up A77. That's a really, really nice way to play if you're Fisher. You know the orbital strike is going to be a problem in this post plant, and so what they did was they just said, let's just rush them. Let's just rush them. We walked on. They walked on us with Buckies. We'll walk them down with the ultimates. Cloric and Logan, the leaders for their team and in this server. That's the dynamic duo of duelists that we wanted to see, and they get the final 3 kills to wrap up the round.
VAL dynamic as well. They're actually splitting themselves, and again, we saw a pinch out of Fisher which is looking like we're going to see that same thing again.
Flair with an ultimate, though, if he wants to lead, there seems to be no intention on the other parts of the map. Are they prepared for Logan's aggression? Well, they're going to get stunned up. He might get more. Nasi with a great trade. Comey from distance. So many ults getting used here as well. An orbital strike into the mix, forcing them back to Dory and Cloric. A crunch between both of these teams. Defense crunch south. Winthrop tried B, and Fisher have bested them in this round on all fronts. A 3 versus 1 is A77, once again the last player alive. Seeing what he can find, but the spike down, and the crunch worked out perfectly there for Fisher.
See a play like that, as repetitive as it can be, it never goes wrong. Now they have the spike. Even then, a perfect play too in the perfect time, because now economy is so low for Winthrop. Even if they get a couple picks here, doesn't matter. Fisher completely wiped them off the board. Not enough economy to save up in the next round. Yeah, keeping it going though, and they're slowly working around. You see that spike still landing around down towards they're watching it like a hawk.
Yeah, 3 players. I think a stun as well, Dory. Oh, brother. I want Dory to take a fight here, to be honest, because I'll get... Oh, no, it's Tuzi instead. My bad.
30 seconds left.
Yeah. Oh, Dory doesn't get it. I say, oh, that's a bad thing. They won the round, but like, yeah, Dory gets the kill. He was playing the low position, was hoping to be the one that goes down, and won't get the Rolling Thunder, but a 5th round for Fisher. The crunch play works extremely well in their favor, and Winthrop, timer pause, you know what that means, folks. We have another tactical timeout at 5-1. This is a perfect moment to call it. You have to find a way to, again, to deal with that pressure. And I think Fisher have done a phenomenal job of switching up the tempo multiple rounds, not kind of being too readable with Logan and his aggression. He's in different spots all the time. Winthrop really don't know when the aggression is coming, and most importantly, where the aggression is coming from. And most of the time, they're the ones walking into it.
It's difficult too, because you see the way that Fisher play. It's one round, it's like all you see is Logan, 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 and then the next, it's you don't see anyone. So it's so hard to read into those situations. That's why they created that split play down to below, up towards you know, the top side, and then it didn't work out in the end. So Winthrop, they're having a really hard time reading into this. But I think Nasi there with the ult, the Rolling Thunder, that's going to be a really nice take back.
Yeah, you can set that up with moves. He's going to be playing here with his Blade Storm is moving to next. He's been quiet.
Yeah.
Through this map. I think one of the concerns, at least for me, was A77 is no longer that Silva where he put up ridiculous numbers on Haven. Now he's back to the Cypher, and it's a concern because of what we've seen so far in this series. First map didn't go his way on Cypher, but he did play Northwood. He was positive, I think, 3 on that map, 18 and 15. They didn't win the map, but he looked good on Cypher for a time. So maybe it's just the different maps. He might be a little bit more confident. He's playing so far, so good. So a lot more VALORANT to be played here. Yeah. It is going to be an eco round for Winthrop and Cloric. Yeah, again, switching up this aggression. Very quick now over towards Arcade.
Oh, bringing the hammer in it as well, trying to make a statement. Cloric, though, can't even do anything. They're not playing with the team right now. They're hiding behind, but the Rolling Thunder that we've been waiting for from Winthrop, this might be that win condition, and they pinch back. Doesn't matter, Fisher can't do anything against their own play style. It's game over.
And on an eco round, Winthrop somehow recover. Fisher committing 4 players in a massive duel towards Arcade, and Winthrop with their own ultimates with the Blade Storm from Moves are able to deal with it very, very well. I think Nasi had a very quick reaction with that Rolling Thunder, with that fault line, with his flashes, kind of prohibiting Clark from getting the space that he wanted. And Fisher are looking again to try and do the same. Clark's going to lead again with his blast pack. Stim Beacon as well from Tuzi. And Logan with his overdrive in towards Arcade. It's only A77 to greet them, and as soon as Winthrop realizes aggression, it's another hit towards A. Or possibly towards B this time around.
At this point, it's pressure against pressure. It's, you know, if you're the fastest, then you can take that fight, but right now I'm playing for that 5-man retake.
And look at the position that RexGator has right now. This lockdown is going to take up so much space, and he's got Logan right behind him to reinforce this fact. And it's so hard to break a lockdown in this position because you can't get aggressive. You're jumping up to try and meet these players. And Comey will get the plant. They're trying to take out RexGator, which they will find. First man advantage goes away to Winthrop.
Already actually waiting for that 5-person push to happen right now, actually losing the one. Someone slowly working around the back, trying to get that flank rotation in, but the Rolling Thunder pushing these players back. There's potential there.
And A77 can't do anything. It's not planted for him whatsoever.
Oh, now that one was not good. Comey still stuck in that corner. But actually still managing to make something out of a dry situation. Dory still, though. Down in CT. You got this 2v1, and it's done with.
Dory finding 4, that Rolling Thunder. Massive amounts of impact, and just the plant spot wasn't going to favor A77 whatsoever. This is a Fisher College. Online, activated. Clark and Logan doing bits, and Dory in that round pulling up huge. Again, look at the way he's proactive and getting this control up his Rolling Thunder. He's reinforcing off of his own ult with his teammates. And sharp shooting from him, the daring and the dashing. Winthrop still have a buy to work with. But what are the answers? And I can't really think of anything so far. They're gonna try and push Fisher to the limits with aggression themselves, and it's worked out for one. But this duo of Clark and Logan is shutting down, and instant trades happen.
Right now, I'm not gonna lie, that first initial fight that we saw, that was a big overextension on the side of moves.
A77 has got a player with his back turned. Dory steps in the wrong way. They're not expecting this, and I don't know why they're not expecting this. A whiff, I'd say, from A77. That should have been a free kill.
Yeah. See, Clark's still keeping that control center down towards A, so it's not like they've lost anything just yet. You see those smokes making some big impact there and pushing that pushback.
And they're putting a lot of noise here, not even cutting noise. Dory's just gonna try and spam for anything. He's on 59 HP. He's gotta be careful. There's a reason why, if you're a smokes player, you play with a Phantom, because tracers go through, but he's the breach and he falls with the tracers. Nasi showing Dory how it's done on the breach. This will be a round here for Winthrop as they regain control.
A77 stuck on left-hand side corner. Actually, a very good angle to take, too. Knowing where they're coming from, yeah. I mean, that's a difficult position to be in there.
Orbital strike clearing, Winthrop cutting noise, taking patience, re-aggressing. But you can see the slight change. It's set moves up to try and get aggressive. I don't think moves is necessarily going to win every single opening engagement, but the key thing is that you put those duelists between Clark and Logan under a lot of pressure, and so they're going to be bound to make mistakes. They're going to be bound to make trades, but the key thing is control is never going to be free from now on for Fisher College if Winthrop keep up that kind of aggression.
Nothing roundabout here, though. You're seeing that patience start to run thin over towards A.
Here's the duo.
The duo not working out too well. Yeah, already 2 down.
Nasi will put himself 1 off the Rolling Thunder. This round from the get-go, did not feel too confident if you are a Fisher fan. Just barely able to slip by, but yeah, Winthrop will get the ult for Nasi. I think they're going to feel really comfortable going into this next round as they're starting to pick up a little bit of momentum. They're picking up the tempo, picking up the pace. They're not playing too scared against this Fisher team. And Clark and Logan, you can see kind of being nullified with that aggression shown from Winthrop. Now in the full round, can they do it again is the question. They've had 2 successful rounds of shutting those duelists down. They've got to do it here as we're heading towards the end of this first half.
I said Winthrop has the dog in them, and I still believe they do. It's just very difficult, again, because Fisher College, they've been doing so well at just countering any type of gameplay Winthrop is throwing at them.
And they're realizing with these next 2, or these last 2 rounds, a lot of it was, Clark and Logan getting shut down early, right? It was a fast fight from moves in their 3rd round win that shut down, I believe it was Cloric, it might have been Logan, there was an instant trade back, but that kind of pressure is unsettling to Fisher because they hadn't had to face it so far on this offensive side that quick change, now they're gonna have to come up with their own response. And we'll see if Fisher College can come up with that response off this timeout. They are gonna have 2 ultimates to work with. Logan with the overdrive, Rex with his lockdown. But on the flip side, Winthrop have got a Rolling Thunder and a Showstopper to work with. They've made the adjustments necessary. Can they close out the half 6-6? You can see how tense Moves is looking right now.
Oh, Moves more like noobs. That's terrible.
Are you calling Moves a noob or is...
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering.
Sounds like a thing for Moves' girlfriend to handle.
I hope she's not calling I hope he's not getting called a noob and she's not calling him a noob. He is 5 and 10, so
yeah.
I don't mean to throw shade, but he's been big on those previous entries. And here again, I like this. They're a lot more cautious in dealing with aggression. Not the fact that they're fighting initially, but they're at least, look at this. Not overextending, getting caught out, and that's what's winning them these fights. Moves with a nice double.
Oh, definitely not a noob as well. Look at that. Already taken a lot of shots in. You see Fisher now down to only 1. A lockdown not able to be used this round, and that would have been big if they didn't lose everyone so easy, but still potential there. They have the spike.
El Capitan.
This is huge. They can completely corner everybody out. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I would use the lockdown here.
Yeah, exactly. He's in a good spot to do it as well. 1v1s, got scary, got dicey, but Moves. I think you heard me say he was 5 and 10. Now he's 8 and 10, so he's looking really sharp right now. Last round of the half, and Winthrop again, making the necessary adjustments, dealing with the aggression, I think in really good fashion, whether it be sending Moves up to fight or whether it be, sit back for a second to feel out what Fisher are doing. You'd see it perfectly in this round as well. There were times over in this B tree area where Fisher would just huck util all the way down B tree, and these guys were getting caught off guard multiple times. This time they sit back, relax, let them come to you. You're not gonna get caught up by util that time.
Get out of my way.
Oh, tons of util down in A though. They do not care. They're actually playing for this retake, or even just trying to corner them into that util here. Biggest advancement yet. Still not finding anything though. That smoke is completely closing them out.
And as soon as they back up here, Winthrop are gonna immediately take this space back. Wait, watch the A70. Gets the info, snappy. He'll get that one, and that kill's gonna trigger the retake towards B tree.
Oh, and it's a caloric flare showdown. Still getting the one-on-one action. A77 still working their way down towards sewers. Making some big numbers here. You still got the spike waiting for this to happen. Actually pulling down the lockdown from Rex Skater, which could be big, but nobody was making any moves yet.
And they cut noise here. You're not confident of your Fisher to make the full rotate. You need Rex to be in position for his util.
Yeah.
Orbital strike at the ready. He'll get the contact. Stay alive, stay alive. No. Tuzi going down. No orbital strike. Once again, the captain's got to try and pull his team out of the rut. From a 6-2 half to possibly 6-6, Fisher have let this one slip.
I think they're gonna let this one slip anymore though, because Fisher tired of being knocked down by the team that they should be knocking down.
Swarm grenade out.
Especially as they have the higher up right now. A77, a couple shots fired. They know exactly where they are. So nobody assisting. Could just wide swing right here, but given that 1v1, impossible to win this out if you're not gonna play together. But again, there comes Rex Gator going down with it, a 6-6 half. Let's not forget, of course, it is time for that halftime break. We'll be right back.
I'm down here on the main stage, just in front of our players here, but with somebody a little bit different. I've got Darkest from Northwood, who's been waiting in the wings in the grand finals tomorrow. But before we get into talking about our two teams here, one of which that you are going to be playing tomorrow, how's your stay been?
Our stay has been great. Riot's been treating us really well. The PCs here are great. We've been able to practice and scrim and even watch the matches. So it's honestly been a fantastic time.
Well, that's important, right? Because one of these two teams you're going to see tomorrow. Now, it's basically as even as it gets. Tied up in map score, 1-1. Both maps going 13-11. We're here on Fracture, 6-6 at the half. What are your thoughts so far on this series today?
Honestly, I was kind of surprised. I didn't honestly think Winthrop was going to do that well. I thought Fisher was going to slaughter them.
Okay.
So I'm kind of disappointed in Fisher. I really expected them to 3-0. Hopefully they clear it out. 3-2, 3-1 maybe.
What do you think went wrong then?
It's hard to say. I think too many individual fights. They didn't play well together anymore, or at least for this series. But usually they're spot on.
Yeah, so now looking forward maybe a little bit into tomorrow. Obviously, you guys are doing your own thing. You guys don't often do your own thing. Well, on the server, you guys don't often do your own thing. It's kind of been talked about, Northwood, away from the practices, but gets it done in the server time. Is there anything specific that you guys have been working on in preparation for Wednesday's games?
If I'm going to be honest, no. We've kind of just been playing, just enjoying the time here, and we practice, but nothing new. Just keep it same old, same old.
Okay, so now with we're just under 30 seconds before we jump back into the game. We still have a few more maps to go, but who are you expecting to see on Wednesday?
Fisher.
Fisher?
100% Fisher.
Okay, Fisher and why?
They're just the better team.
Fisher are just the better team. Okay, there you heard it again. Darkus, thank you so much for joining me, man.
course.
I appreciate you. We're going to throw it back up to our casters, Gump and Sully, to close out Fracture.
All right, excited to see what is cooking up. We got that 6-6 half, Sully, and the thing that worries me is obviously we got a lot from Fisher on that defense.
Yeah, we did. But we also got a lot of boos from the crowd when Darkus was like, Fisher's going to win this. So let's see if Winthrop can prove them wrong. Keep in mind, these two teams, the 6th time that they're playing this map, the last time they faced, it went Fisher's way. And the reason why it went Fisher's way, it was an 8-1 offensive stomping.
Yeah.
So Winthrop needed to put up numbers on that offensive side. They put up 6, but is 6 good enough? We'll have to wait and see as the second half is kicking off. Fisher on the attacker looking poised to now take this A site.
Something I really liked as well now, actually seeing here, Logan's aggression on the attack. I feel like it's going to come full form here, especially as they're able to actually be in their element. Already seen that. They have the site. Everybody's still fighting down inside of main here, actually working their way around the back. There's nobody that understands. Slowly working. Again, that first one down, A77, helpless and Nasi. 38 health left in a 1v3 situation. Pretty much over.
And this aggression is going to continue to be an issue, transitioning from the defending side now to the attacking side. Fisher are going to put the pressure on you no matter what. And you can see the idea that Winthrop had in that round for sure. They recognized Clark and Logan were split up from the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Moves try to get aggressive in towards door. But the key thing here is that Winthrop, I felt, overextended with moves. He tried to dash out and get away. He gets sucked into that fight, losing a very key player in that fighting instance.
Yeah, but completely different coloring that we're seeing here. Because it felt like even on the defense, there wasn't a lot that we could see out of Logan there. And they were trying their very best with those pinches, whatnot. But now they're full form moves, though. First shot, nice. Taking out Logan, that's big.
And this duel between our two double duelists on both sides continues to sprawl across the map. Winthrop putting A77 on the Cypher hasn't proven to be the most fruitful. But, you know, he's not doing too bad, I'll be honest. I think now on the defending side is where we're going to really see him begin to shine. That was the half that he did the best against Northwood.
Yeah.
When they did play this map. Again, my concern was, you know, you take A77 off this incredible Sova that we got saw in Haven. Now coming in after what we saw in Split, is it going to debilitate his performance? So far, it hasn't hurt the team too much. They've kept the half close. But again, the main half for Fisher is always this attacking side that you have to be watching out for.
Yeah, but the retakes from obviously Winthrop are good in its own extent. Yeah, Fisher are just running it down, taking everybody out left and right.
Winthrop with this buy.
Make sure to
I
cover the
need them to
angles
make
I
early
can't.
adjustments to this aggression. I imagine in the halftime, you kind of have to expect that that Fisher are going to play this really aggro style with their double duelists. What will they do to try and compensate for that fact? Are we going to see an op in play? Now, the thing with an op on this map in particular is that it's not always as fruitful as what we saw on like Split and Haven, because there are 4 different entry points for duelists to go through, and only 1 op most of the time on the map. And again, with this composition of Logan on the Neon, Cloric on the Raze, that kind of very quick entry is going to stunt the ability of an operator. But we don't see it this time around. I'm just rambling about something that's not even existent right now. Fisher, on just their bonus, have an empty B site. And this is a risk from Winthrop to take, to play essentially a retake, unless Comey wants to invest himself into the fight. they're giving up the site as soon as contact is made.
Even that, they're fighting for the site as well when nobody's there. So tons of util just exposed.
An alarm bot as well. Look at the different post-plan situations. Rex has got the Vandal. Nasi, I think, just catching him with a jump spot over the smoke. That aftershock, does it catch Logan? He might not get away with his life. Just barely moves on a flank as well. Is going to make this one a little bit more deadly for Winthrop as they approach the retake.
So now in this moment as well, you could see everybody kind of digressing back onto the site from Winthrop. Nobody watching. Slowly the workup as it goes. The flank as well coming through from Rex Gator, but they know, they understand here. Moves is smarter than that. He knows exactly how to play the situation, though. Smoke completely creating that coverage. No way of knowing if they can do it, but they do. Winthrop there with the defusal.
There's 4 players kind of stacking themselves in front of that spike. Not a single person gets away. And Winthrop keeping the map close. A big defuse coming through. As Fisher College will now have the full buy. Last round was their bonus. They contacted the way into B. Now Winthrop testing the waters of what Fisher are going to do. We're seeing small glimpses of how they'll deal with that aggression. It's either you fight it all on one side of the map or you just play retake for the next. But the key thing is playing full retake means your retakes have got to be flawless against a Fisher that are playing aggressive.
Because if anything, they don't want to give it away. Already, the round barely even started, and you can see they're working their way around the back now, trying to fight for sight. Rex Skater with a nice 2K starting off, but then having to fight Nasi, of course. Still, though, tons of util to be expended here. 2v3 situation. Dory's gonna make it big, and so is Tuzi.
And Fisher packing on the heat. Replay wasn't even done, and we saw the first kill. They are putting the pressure on Winthrop early on in these rounds. That resets Winthrop here as well. This round is not as critical, but the next, absolutely. When Fisher are on 10, a loss would reset Winthrop one more time. Putting Fisher onto 11, possibly 12 for the map. Despite it being this close, these last 4 rounds are telling the tale of how Fisher are playing with confidence.
Yeah.
And bringing the fight to Winthrop, even when Winthrop aren't, you know, ready for those fights. Like that last one was a perfect example.
Yeah, and I felt like I was seeing a lot more aggression come out when Fisher were on the defense now. Lucky 1v1, Nasi not giving it away, though. Even then, using some util to keep pushing this up, but I'm not so sure if that's the smartest move. Yeah, Logan takes it down.
Yeah, what a peek from Logan. Barely feeling anything of himself. And Winthrop will have knives for moves, and orbital strike, ultimates that are useful, but I don't think they're going to be used in this round. And Fisher have dealt this anti-eco the same way they've dealt every other anti-eco, and the same way most teams will deal with the anti-eco. And on a map like Fracture, where there are so many uncertain angles, you don't know where the defense has gotten aggressive, you have to play it very safe. That's what we saw on Winthrop's attack. Nice shot from Moobs. But is that going to be enough here? Because A77 is going to come up big with a short, and I like his odds here up in tower.
All he needs is one, then he can get that reload through, but a flash again. The consistency of this team of Fisher.
Let's put it onto 20 seconds. You talk about consistency. They're scrambling to get to the A site. Moves just committed the dash. Oh, and they're going back the other way. A double fake. I don't know if they heard the dash, what cued them to go back, but 10 seconds left. You got to realize now, Winthrop, the mistake that you've made. Tuzi can get in a good post-plant position with this orbital strike as well. And Fisher, ooh, just by the skin of their teeth, might get away with this one.
Chloric also is close to that load up there, so they can get their ultimate as well. Let's say, worst case scenario, Tuzi goes down.
See the barrel? I think the slightest bit just stuck out.
But there's a big pinch that could happen here with Tuzi still stuck in that corner.
I don't like Tuzi's odds here. Yeah, not at all.
Still stuck on low.
Oh, he's not looking, not checking.
That's a great way to take this on. The paint shell to close back Chloric. He can't even peek that angle. Has to isolate this fight. Then he can get something down off it, but it's not enough.
And what a thrifty round for Winthrop. Moves with a massive triple. And I will say the delay bought by the Cyber of A77, like his cages prohibiting vision, just contact on that site gave Winthrop the opportunity, gave Moobs a lot of chances to get high into the sky and take him down with his knives.
Yeah.
We're going back and forth here. The 2 rounds that Winthrop have won, we've had 5 successful plants from Fisher and 2 successful retakes from Winthrop. They've got to put an end to the plants that Fisher are having, because I feel on the defense, especially on this map, it is extremely difficult to win these retakes. 7 ults across the board between these 2 teams. And we're going towards B quick and with pace. Ults galore will be used in this round, as already Logan's popped his.
And he's gonna take the long way around, see if they can find anything up in tower. And they read into this. Winthrop University already planning to get that flank around, as well as really just play that CT side.
And they are playing with the orbital strike. Comey's gonna look to try and deny this one as best he can. And that's certain death. Plant doesn't go down. An orbital strike to buy time, but it hasn't worked out.
He's still underneath. Moves actually flew up above, but Chloric finally getting that showstopper and making something happen. The spike not down just yet. Rolling Thunder stalling off some of that time.
Just constant pressure here from Winthrop.
And it's still there. A77, Nazi, everybody from Winthrop coming down onto the site, making things happen.
2 beautiful ultimates coming out from Winthrop. Shutting down Fisher College with that orbital strike. Like, you had to expect that. You had to expect that. And Dory just is caught at the very, very edge. And there was no way for him to get out of that situation. Winthrop tying it up really, really nice. That's one way to stop the plan, is combo 2 major ultimates with it.
Yeah.
And Fisher will finally now fully be reset, and they've expended almost every single ultimate. Like, Chloric's on 1 point, Tuesday's on 1 point. Rex, you get the point.
We're all on 1 point.
A huge brawl with those ults.
Oh, Cam's actually still waiting too. No, they're running in. Doesn't matter. But the aggression is fought back. Comey's still there, making sure a nice collateral coming through.
Yeah.
It's up to Comey. They did such a good job at holding things down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Fisher are just nothing to do there.
Take what's useful.
All right, Winthrop. They've got the answers on this defensive side. And Fisher College, a timeout called, the last in this map, the 6th of this series they've used. Pressure is on them to try and come up with an answer. Winthrop now have the op online, as we just saw. Last round was the anti-eco. They've had success so far with ultimates.
One enemy remaining.
And then in the anti-eco,
Strike down B.
now that the rifles are out and there really aren't ults for either of these teams to play with outside of, we'll see here in a second when we come back, Dory and his Rolling Thunder. Both teams will just have to make the necessary changes off of this timeout. I think for Fisher, that aggression that was working initially, Goff, is not working at all.
No, it really isn't. And in the beginning, it was something so strong that Winthrop, you know, again, something they weren't used to. But once you mix that, doesn't work out. And Moves is looking to finish them off with an up. I mean, that's brutal. If Moves can actually get some early engagement off that, move in, maybe utilize some of that breach util, I think that up is going to be big leading into that match point.
Now, Winthrop have been in this spot multiple times in this series, and what I mean by that is they've been leading at this critical scoreline of 10-9 with a 1-round gap. They've always had the lead, and they couldn't close it out on Split.
Yeah.
They closed it out on Haven, the necessary map in this series. And can they close it out here on Fracture? Not their map pick. And we would go to Lotus, one of the best maps that Winthrop have in their map pool. And Fisher, 5-player push, a Rolling Thunder, but Flare and Moves to greet. Flare goes undetected.
I mean, they don't even know that Flare is there as well, so they're gonna have to re-clear that angle. Moves now making some shots happen with the op.
There's Flare.
A wonderful read still happening here. Just up above, Tuesday still making some shots count. You got Fisher in a 3v3 action here.
You gotta like the odds here for Winthrop, as they're already on the site. Great pressure. And the spike, oh, it's going into the issue. Tuesday, he was one shot as well. Rex Skater towards Sand. Spike doesn't go down, and Rex finds 2, but there it is finally. And A77's got his work cut out for him, but we are tied once again, 10-10. They had the first kill and had everything going their way. But Rex, the leader, pulls them out.
You know, it's always those clutch moments that Rex is there for the team. Those small, tiny conditioning moments as well. So, Winthrop, they lose the op. Tons and tons of economy just down the drain, and now they're gonna buy it again.
Fisher off of that one. Will continue off of their tack timeout play, which, you know, I'm gonna make an inference, is just rush A at this point, because they're doing it here again. No op to greet. A flare that will be checked this time around in full clear with the util of Logan.
Still proceeding with the clear. That smoke always there. They should know by now there's someone hiding up there, but it's Flare and Nasi still again making things work down on site.
And I like this from Flare. He's backed away. He hasn't overextended, hasn't overheated. A rolling thunder for Dory in this post-plant situation. Spike surely to go down, but their smokes have faded. And moves up top. I don't know if he'll get hit by the rolling thunder. That comes in, that orbital strike. Didn't even see that. It's bot time, and Flare's struck for another.
I don't even think it matters at this point because that double swing, A77 alongside Flare, just works out. Spike also in the territory of Winthrop, and you got 4 health on Clark. Unless they can pull for something through smoke, it's not going to happen.
What a hold from Flare, dueling as well with Nasi over towards Sands. He just holds his ground on site, and he plays this extremely smart. He gets a kill, and he backs away, playing with his team. It's something that Winthrop was telling me about, is that we're just trying to refine our technicals. Like, it's really key that we're not overextending and making reckless fights. That was Flare doing it to a T right then and there. At 20-12, he's been a light for this team. And on the defensive side, he comes up massive this time around.
Let's go. Again, so much leading into this. And again, they're doing that pinch once more, quite possibly. Oh, just waiting for a run up.
Holding on to a rolling thunder for, I swear, an eternity from Dory. And Flare's careful, cautious of a rolling thunder. A77 to greet Rex, and opt to greet the rest of Fisher as they kind of scuttle back towards B tree. Moves. Did he spot the shoulder? Well, he spots one, and he hits that one for sure. Rex looking to greet the awaiting op, but that's confidence dwindling now for Fisher in this exec.
Even second contact waiting here. Moves, keeping that patience. They know that they repositioned the 3 players still coming along. Now they're going back over towards main, but everybody on Fisher has moved themselves, and they've taken out that off.
Cloric will get some space. It's up to A77 to try and lock it down here. He spotted one going in. Here's another. That is a beautiful stun from Nasi, by the way. Setting with his teammate perfectly, and A77 just being a guardian in towards tower. Tuzi's got a clutch. He doesn't have the spike, and he doesn't have the firepower to do so. The Phantom in his hand has got to make work.
12 health, still getting something. Left. Making 30 seconds count, though. Actually, Orbital to stop. Maybe just center these players in. Comey.
They spotted him.
Yeah, they know exactly where he is.
A massive map point for Winthrop in this series. And Fisher with 3 ultimates online, a 4th coming in from Rex. 23 rounds played. If history repeats itself, it's struck twice already, Lightning. Do we get 24? Fisher with their backs against the wall, no timeouts left, so they have to go into this one. And once again, another A hit, a 3rd in a row.
They're gonna get stopped out though. We see moves again, there's something big here, and they're just rushing it down towards A. The flank coming along, Tuzi making a nice first shot off of moves. Now you got tons of players still rotating around down back and dish there.
And they're all coming from one spot, that's the crazy thing. And look at the ults, rolling thunder orbital strike. If they hit this right, everyone on Winthrop is gonna go down. But they don't know. Fisher don't know. And so they'll play the post-plant the way they would any other. Dory sticking on sight, seeing what he can find. A rolling thunder hits only a few, but they don't know they're all from here.
When they push back to Flash, making Flare actually push themselves back, but everybody down in CT. This is big. The moment now coming into it, but the orbital strike there from Tuzi. Could they use it right now to zone these players in? Dory goes down. Winthrop University, this is their time. 3v4 situation. They take 2, A77 again, making things work out on the site though. Nasi just says, you know what? I'm gonna take a nap.
And we will have 24 rounds. Fisher College getting it done, and they save ultimates. They save 2 of them, and they will have Rex. Okay, never mind. Rex doesn't. I thought he died, but he will have the lockdown hopefully in this upcoming round. Moves in a Zot proof fruitless, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Fisher College to push us to OT. We haven't seen an OT in this series just yet, but we've seen 24 rounds across, or apologies, 24 rounds in every single map.
Yeah.
I was about to do the math, but I don't want to fry my brain. Fisher College switching it up towards B this time around. Moves has got the op over towards Arcade. And Logan creating a stampede underneath. They will get the orb here for Rex, it looks like. And so they're going to maintain this tunnel control so Rex can pop this ult. And there's nothing to contest. No orbital strike from Comey. They have to play retake here.
They're using the biggest part of their brains right now for Fisher, as they should. But there's so much that they can do here with that showstopper, with that orbital strike. Still, even now, going onto the site, they're looking for that 12 to 12.
Comey stuck around, seeing if he could get anything.
Spike planted.
Pressure on Fisher to stay alive. Oh, the dart catches Logan. 4 on 5. Cloric and Tuzi with ultimates. They're both playing the post lane as well. Look at where the spike is planted.
Oh, but there's still a big wrap.
This is an insane amount of post lane util.
Dory's underneath. Look at that showstopper still coming out from Cloric, and he actually takes it down. Yeah, Fisher right now in this moment, they're still looking for something. It moves! Absolutely insane! Closing things off with just their ultimate down. I'm speechless right now.
What was the final round from Moves? Heroic with the Blade Storm, the second time that he had to pull a massive 3K on the B site with his knives. And it's to get Winthrop the win. We will not see overtime for the first time in this series, but we will see Winthrop for the first time in a while go up in a series against Fisher College.
You know, in that moment, it's funny because whoever made that sign, moves equals noobs or whatever, oh my gosh, he came back swinging.
And what a way to do it as well. A map that Fisher College looked dominant on the last time they played it. The attacking side, they put up 8-1 versus this Winthrop University side on their attacking side, and they get shut down again as close as it can get. 24 rounds played on every single map. It's as close as you can get with the top 2 teams from the Eastern Conference.
Oh man, and the biggest thing is this is like the comeback from Winthrop. They both made their lower bracket run, but let's not forget that Winthrop have their own separate lower bracket run when it comes to Fisher College. Always on the bottom.
Yeah, again, like this is the 6th time that they've played Fracture in their history, the 6th time they've played in their history as 2 colleges. Fisher have gotten the better of them every single time, essentially. 4 times they've won in the last 3 months. Now is a time for Winthrop to try and, pull up the upset, and they're doing so in spades.
Yeah, well, that was a big upset. The thing that I'm interested in is, of course, what the analyst has cast to think about this. So, Degon, take it away.
Thank you very much, y'all. Great cast so far, 2-1, and now Winthrop knocking on the door of history, getting one step closer. We got someone comfortable on the couch right here, and Drad's also pretty cool right now. But how are we feeling, Tanner? Go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't feel too bad. Moments ago, I was doing some counting. I was talking about Haven. I was talking about Fracture. You guys were saying don't get too far ahead of yourselves.
What is this accent? Gobbledygoo.
Hey,
what is this?
I'm just saying that I'm happy to be here, 2-1, Winthrop the lead.
Yeah, I think what kind of catches my attention the most is the change in composition, right? Because yeah, it is a stakes here. You want to bring something new, especially because of the amount of times that we saw Fisher bringing up this map of Fracture. Yeah. So you bring that neon, but nobody else, especially here in A and Collegiate, is running this composition. They actually got it from PaperX all the way in Pacific. And I find that so interesting because some of the ideas were similar, but you can tell that there's some more practice needed. When you're going to bring that neon, the executes, they have to be clean. And there was definitely a timing in between the initial contact that this Fisher team got on the attacking side and when the round and the spike was going to be planted. So there's some sense of uncomfortability in that mid-round that needed to be adapted to.
And I like the idea. I love the idea because you come into this one, you've played this team 5 times now. You've gone the distance a couple of times. You even lost one of them. But I think although you had ideas coming into this, it's scary because Logan didn't have the best map too. So to put him on something that he's not the most comfortable on when it comes to officials alone. I mean, you see it here. Logan just had a really hard time here on Fracture. And this is a map where, again, Winthrop has been known to get outside themselves a little bit. This was a map that if you could pick Winthrop apart, like Moves is talking about in that video earlier, right? If we make mistakes, they're going to capitalize on it. And I don't think Fisher felt comfortable enough to do that with this Neon Swap.
No, definitely not. And yes, Moves ends up being the MVP on the side there for Winthrop. But It wasn't easy going there for him. He was down on the bottom side of the leaderboard. It was Nasi leading the way for the squad until he was finally able to really pick it up and have a couple of huge hero plays. And that's what we needed to see from this Winthrop side. Who was going to step up? Who was going to be a hero? And that's what we love about Collegiate. It's these cult heroes stepping up and being huge in those right moments. Moob steps up there, whereas Logan has the lowest ACS in the lobby.
And I think that's kind of surprising because, okay, initially it was the first map where we got to see him on the jet. Things don't go well, then you go into that Neon, but the Neon is definitely not going to be the most comfortable, and you could see it. So now I'm concerned for that next map and how Logan is going to play out. This guy that was a huge difference maker when he was playing online, when he was playing for those grand finals, when he was going against the specific team of Winthrop. But that is not the Logan that we're seeing today, and he definitely is going to need to change things up.
Yeah, and when you look at this graphic just quickly, 16 first bloods, right? The way of Winthrop. But you only have, 13 round wins here. I think you're getting these early first bloods, sure, but you gave up 11 rounds to Fisher. So looking back at this, now is not the time, but maybe before tomorrow, there are still some things to clean up here for this Winthrop squad. The job's not done just yet, but there's definitely things to clean up on Fracture.
Just also to be fair, the graphic can't really show that, in the first half, both squads were just running at each other on defense. We were complaining on Haven like, hey, you guys are sitting all the way back. You're letting them take all the space. And then here on Fracture, everyone was just running at everyone at the beginning. In the second half, we saw a lot more composure. We saw a lot more patience before the first contact. We saw, okay, we're going to get some information. As you can see, the toll it takes on the players, like going and the other thing is, these aren't short games. These aren't like 13-6, 13-3. These are, 13-10, 13-11, 13-11. These have been long, grueling games here, Drad.
And especially something that you mentioned, right, is the aggression that we were seeing right at the beginning from the defense. And of course, that is going to be the nature of Fracture, but more especially with that composition that Fisher was bringing, where you want to make space with that fast lane. And Logan was trying to do so, was making a little bit of space, but then we saw them playing a little bit more of a passive position, holding back on the attacking side, waiting for the aggression to happen in the southern part of the map. And then it was just not working out. The read was so clean by the other side. And that's not easy to do, knowing that who else is running this composition here.
There it is on your screen. We're putting an emphasis on Logan here because he is one of the rocks of this squad. He is playing the duelist and needs to have a bigger round than that. Again, lowest ACS in the lobby in that last one. And you expect a player like him to bounce back here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now's the time to do it. Again, at this point, if you're Fisher, you had a lot of weight on your shoulders, lower bracket run, you're down a map. I think there needs to be, you can see in conversations here, right? Everybody seems relatively calm. We saw the players' heads down, but it's time to reset. Unfortunately, Logan didn't get that reset in between Game 2 and Game 3. But at this point, backs against the wall, you have nothing to lose. Just go out there and play some VALORANT. You made it this far. Obviously, a loss feels bad here. I mean, it feels good for me because Winthrop would be 3-1. But at the end of the day, just go out there and play VALORANT. Much like we talked about for moves, right? Don't change up your play style too much. I think they have Logan doing a little too much here and crumbling under that pressure of this comeback victory through the lower bracket.
All right, Dryad, since he basically took all your points for Fisher, I'm going to have you be coach here for Winthrop. You're not only facing the squad that's been on the opposite side of the stage right now, you're facing a squad that has defeated you 4 times in a row all year, and now you're on the precipice of doing it. You've been close before and have lost 3-2, but now you're up 2-1 in the biggest match of your season. What do you tell the guys to close it out here?
I mean, it's definitely keeping up that energy that the team has been bringing. The cool thing about this side of Winthrop is that they're not doing any crazy new things, right? We see a couple new ideas and how they want to play these rounds, but in general, you see kind of the same stability that characterized them from the beginning of the season all the way until now. So there's no reason to change that, right? The maps are close, yeah. Some rounds are a lot of individual players that we're getting to see being and shining a little bit more, but now it's a matter of the map pool, everything was against you. That map number 1, the map number 2, it goes the distance, and yet you're still making it this far. Winthrop as well to have a consistency that the other side for Fisher doesn't have. We set up these duelist players so much. We talk about Chloric, we also talk about Logan, but Moob's incredibly consistent on this role and is going to keep playing this role.
Well, Digon, you mentioned somebody at the start, and I've been meaning to mention this guy. It's been basically the only thing that stayed constant for the most part, and it's been Nazi on the breach. You talked about Nazi at the start. You said, hey, IGL of this squad. You talked about how good Nazi played on that last map. He started really hot on Split, had a strong Haven, does it again on Fracture, and I think, if anything, coming out of a map 1 loss and then a close map 2, a close map 3, you need a player like Nazi who's going to be kind of the ground for the rest of the team, who now it doesn't seem like Winthrop have any nerves there on that stage.
All right, well, this sets us up to talk about the next map. Going to Lotus. Yeah. Again, a lot of potential to just have fights blow up immediately, right? B side is just right around the corner. But how do you feel about how these teams are playing now in terms of their form now? Because we know that, okay, cool, we'll use a lot of utility to set up. We saw Winthrop do a great job syncing up their abilities to retake really well. But given the fact that everyone's got like their blood pumping right now, how do you feel like this one plays out?
Well, so for Winthrop specifically, this is another strong map, I think, for A77. Barring any changes, I'm pretty sure they're going to be bringing the Gecko into this one. And it's not a lot that we see. We don't see the Gecko in Collegiate very often, but that's an agent where when you pay attention to A77 playing it, the way he uses his utility, he's getting multiple uses out of the Gecko util, and it's also util he can use to play himself. Again, he can play his own game with what he has available to him, instead of being kind of locked down to the Cypher like we saw on Split, the Cypher like we see on Fracture. So I think moving forward, again, much like Haven, A77 is my guy to look at. The way that they bring this Echo into the game, I think that means a lot for Winthrop.
Dryad, Lotus?
I don't like the Gecko, actually. I don't like the Gecko. I've never liked the Gecko in any maps. I feel like we've seen this being an attempt by different teams kind of trying it out. And yeah, the utility can be great. A77 is going to pop off no matter what agent he's going to be playing. But I think the Gecko is so readable for this map, especially when you get that secure win. It's not the most likely scenario. If anything, you're looking back at moves, the consistent player that has been throughout all the maps.
I do want to mention that this is the map, although it slipped away. I would imagine things have to be cleaned up, but Winthrop almost beat Northwood on this map. Winthrop took them 10-2 before losing in overtime. So you clean up a couple of rounds, you find more than 3 rounds on your more than 2 rounds on your second half, and you get it done. So Gecko or not, I think this is a pretty good spot for Winthrop.
This is great analysis by analysts. Win 3 more to get to 13 and you win the game. Thank you, Tanner. All right. I'm going to get more tips from Tanner as we take a short break. When we come back, map number 4. Will Winthrop break some history and make some history? We'll find out after the short break.
Not a good switch though. Wait, 77 up and down. They hit that spray transfer. And now some stuns there. It's that double ult that will really carry this ult. Just still managing to make something out of a dry situation. Dory still though.
But at least, yeah, look at this. Not overextending, getting caught out, and that's what's winning them these fights. Gonna come up big with a short. I like his odds here up in tower.
And doesn't matter, but the aggression is fought back home. He's still there, making sure a nice collateral coming through. We got Fisher right now in this moment. They're still looking for moves. It's moves.